Hare Krishna. In this video, we're going to give you different refutations of the impersonal Mayavad philosophy known as Advaita that is very prevalent in society in this day, especially amongst New Age spiritual so-called gurus and teachers. I'll be giving you different arguments against this Mayavad from a Vaishnav book called Mayavad Shatadushani, which is various refutations of the Advaita Mayavad philosophy. Okay, so this impersonal Mayavad philosophy is used to bewilder those people who don't have already great learning and erudition in the Smriti or Veda or Vedanta literature. Those who have properly studied Vedanta under a bona fide guru are not easily bewildered by Mayavad or Advaita philosophy. But the Advaita Mayavad philosophy, impersonal philosophy, is preached to the masses who don't have this background knowledge. And people take it up because they already have an inclination towards disbelief in God, the absolute truth. They don't have inclination towards bhakti or a personal loving relationship with Krishna. They have some internal enmity, malice, or ill will towards the absolute truth, Krishna. Therefore, they easily take up the impersonal philosophy of Mayavad. When the jivas turn away from Krishna, the absolute truth, they are called bahirmukh, turned away, face turned away from that absolute truth. And therefore, they easily accept the philosophy that says there is no God. In an indirect way, they say, you are God, I am God, we're all God. So they easily accept this. I myself am non-different from that God. So it allows them to be an atheistic theist. There is a God, but I am that God. And you are that God, and we're all that God. So this is preached throughout the world. It's very popular. It's present in different forms, Vivartavad, Brahma Parinamvad, in different New Age spiritual cultures. So the Vaishnavas preach against this because it's very dangerous for the Atma, the soul, who is trying to spiritually grow. Naturally, we are searching after relationship, loving exchange. And in a personal philosophy, there is no potential for loving exchange. We're all ultimately one, then there's no individuality, there's no individual awareness. So there's no potential even for expressing your desire for love and relationship. Therefore, this impersonal philosophy is described to be like spiritual suicide. And their arguments and instructions are considered to be like spiritual murder. So the Vaishnavas, they're helping people step back off that ledge of the impersonal philosophy of Mayavad. Therefore, it is a very important service performed by the Vaishnavas. So the Advaita philosophy of Mayavad was taught by Sankaracharya, as we discussed in our previous videos. In the Puranas, it is described that he was sent by Lord Vishnu or Krishna to spread this Mayavad philosophy amongst those who are demoniac and very materialistic, so that they would not disturb those in the path of pure bhakti. Now, after he preached this by the Lord's will, then the Lord sent his own empowered representatives, and they countered this Mayavad. And in this way, those who would fall sway into that Mayavad philosophy but still had some devotional sentiment would be brought back into the proper path of Bhakti Yoga. So, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are spiritual preceptors in the Bhakti line, cut this Mayavad very forcefully. So we're going to hear their arguments. Those who follow the Mayavad Advaita philosophy, they say that I, the individual spirit soul, is ultimately non-different from the absolute truth. But this is a fallacy because the individual soul is limited in nature. We can see this ourselves. The soul in the Bhagavad Gita is described to be Kshetragya, the knower of the field, of our own field of activities. And the Supreme Soul is aware of the entire creation. We are not aware of what is happening in a galaxy far, far away, unless we watch Star Wars, which is fiction anyhow. But we are only aware of our very limited surroundings, whereas God is aware of His whole creation. He is unlimited, we are limited. For example, it is described that Vishnu, from his many pores, unlimited universes are flowing in and out of his pores, like particles of dust going through a window that is seen in the sunlight. So that Vishnu is described, he is lying on the causal ocean. And with every exhalation, millions and millions and millions of universes are flowing out of his pores. We hear the scientists talk about the Big Bang. That Big Bang is only Big Bang. It's only one creation of one universe. The Vedic teachings give the idea of the Bindu philosophy. It kind of runs on similar or parallel lines with the Big Bang philosophy. The idea is that everything comes from that singularity. What is that singularity? The Vedas describe the exhalation of Lord Vishnu. At that time, one of these universes is emanating from his pores and expanding out into all that is all the planets and galaxies and all the myriad forms of life that is found in that universe. But that's just from one of his pores, of that causal Karanadakshay Vishnu, that Vishnu who lays in the causal ocean. And all those universes expand from his pores. So there are millions and millions of those universes, and each universe is described to be like a bubble of foam resting upon the surface of that causal ocean. And when the Lord breathes out, all those universes manifest. Then within each bubble-like universe, then the Lord further expands into the form of Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, the cosmic macro and micro expansions of the Lord, Paramatma, the super soul residing within the heart of every living entity. And Garbhadakshay Vishnu, who is resting in the ocean of milk, and from whom the Das Avatar, the different incarnations of the Lord manifest. And Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they all appear. So the Lord is present in such a huge, unlimited feature that when he breathes out, all the universes are manifested, and when he breathes back in, all the universes come back within himself. So this parallels the conception of the Big Bang theory, which is the big crunch and the Big Bang. First, everything is expanding, and then everything is contracting back into the Lord's pores. Not just one universe, millions and millions of universes, multi-dimensional universes, the multiverse. It's all coming from that Lord Vishnu. And we are just one in one of those universes that is boundless, depthless. We cannot cross over it, millions and millions of light years across. And we are just one teeny little speck of one little spark living entity. It is described to be that the living entities are like tiny photons of light expanding from the supreme sun of the absolute truth. And so that teeny little spark can never be one with the whole. Now, we have connection to the whole because we are part and parcel of it. Just like you can say the spark of a fire has the quality of fire. But if there is a sun, or the photon of the sun has the quality of the sun, but not the quantity. So God is unlimited or very vast, omnipotent, omniscient, and we're very small. So that photon of light can never be the same as the sun. So in this way, we understand that although we have some similarity by vastu, by substance with God, we are not that same God. This is the first argument the Vaishnavas give. The Mayavadis say, oh, you are that same thing. Now, we can say that because you are like the son of the Father, meaning you are coming from transcendental consciousness. You are also part and parcel of that consciousness. The jiva soul itself is chid, sat chid ananda. It's by constitution it has existence, sat, satta. Satta means existence. And we know by the Gita, Krishna says that that existence we have is eternal. Meaning, even though we transmigrate from one body to another, we're not going to suddenly snap out of existence like with the snap of Thanos' fingers. We're not going to disappear. Even when this body fades, Krishna says in the Gita, Nainang chindanti sastrani, nainang dahati pavaka, na chainang klediyantyapo, na shusyatu maruta. Vasang sijernani yata vihaya navani, grinati naroparani ta sirirani vihaya jernani, anyani sangyati navani dehi. That this body is like a garment upon the soul. When it becomes old and worn out, it will be discarded, and a new body will be received or obtained. Now, the soul has eternality, just like God has eternality, but God is vast, and we are minute. This is the difference. God is Brihad Chaitanya. The Shastra describes Brihad means very great, the great consciousness, the great spirit. And we are the minute, Anu Chaitanya. Anu means like the atomic particle of consciousness. Therefore, in the Gita, it's described Kshetragya, we are the knower of the field of the body and our immediate surroundings. Whereas God is the knower of the entire cosmic creation. So this is one of the differences between the Lord and the Jiva. We can never become that Vishnu. Like we heard, he is present in such a vast capacity. Like we heard, all the universes are flowing in and out of his pores. With every breath, everything, the universes are appearing on the surface of the causal ocean like bubbles, and then when the Lord breathes in again, they disappear. Such is the scale of the creation of the Lord. Where are we? We're present in one little particle, one little bubble of that universe. So, just like particles of dust, the universes are flowing in and out of the pores of the Lord. So in this way, the Lord is described to be Ananta, and we are Anu, minute. So this will never change. And because we are very small, our natural state is to be in alignment with that absolute truth through seva. At the same time we are connected. Krishna says in the Gita, Mamai vangsto jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. The living entities are my vibhinangsa tattva. They're expansions of my divine potency or shakti. Therefore we have some connection to him. Just as the Lord is conscious, we are conscious. But while the Lord is omniscient, we are not omniscient. We know only our external field. Like the room, the house, the world we're in. We don't know what's happening in another universe right now. But the Lord is present, aware of everything, because it's all part of his own creation. There have been many examples of people who try to show, I am Vishnu, I am God. There was even one guru whose disciples made the Ananta Shesh bed, where the Lord is described to rest on the bed of the Ananta Shesh. And they hooked it up with electricity so that fire was coming from his mouth. And when they plugged it in, they didn't ground it properly. And their guru who was saying, I'm Vishnu, was shocked and electrocuted so bad he almost lost his life. So this has gone on since a long time. Even in the Bhagavatam, there's the story of Pondrak Vasudev, who attached 2 more arms and said, look, I am Vishnu. But he was very quickly and easily defeated. One time, Swami Prabhupada was in the West, and a Mayavadi entered the class, a New Age spiritualist, said, I am God, all you're speaking is nonsense. And Swami Prabhupada said, oh, when you cross the street, do you wait for the red light? Do you wait for the walking sign to come on? Do you wait for the green light? And he said, oh, yes, I wait. So then Prabhupada said, you're full of fear. How can you be God? God is beyond fear of material things. So in this way, there are many different arguments and refutations of the Vaishnavas against this Mayavad philosophy. And we're going to be covering them in the upcoming videos. Stay tuned. Share with your friends. Subscribe. Help us out by helping us grow our channel. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.